So this is my 13th year living in Japan, and of course, I like it here quite a lot, and I haven't been thrown out yet after a decade, so that's reassuring. But once in a while, I need to rant about this country and the not so good things about Japan. And to do that with me today, I brought a very special friend, the greatest thing to leave Wales since the Black Plague. It's Sea Dog VA.
We are not responsible for the Black Plague, okay?
How you doing?
I was doing great until I heard that intro.
There you go.
Oh, wonderful. And
doing,
all
man?
free. Doing good.
So we've got the cycle coming up, so
We
this is all free beer. No calories, no flavour, none of the fun. I don't know why we're drinking it.
It's good. It's got 0 calories and it tastes like somebody spilt a beer in a in a can of sparkling water. But I like it. Cheers.
I remember at the end of every day on Cyclothon 3,
yeah.
Connor would like run into the supermarket
Yeah.
and get them like off the shelf, and then he'd be like, I have something to do now. And he'd disappear to his room and you'd just hear like,
Okay.
and I don't-
This is just factually
I think
incorrect.
you just can't do without beer, and I think Connor was like freezing the beer, like mincing up into a powder and snorting it in his room.
Why is it always that you have to slander me within 30 seconds?
That's not
Otherwise,
slang, there's nothing wrong with that. But
What?
but are you're dragging me on another cyclothon?
April 13th to April 27th. April, all of April we're going to be cycling.
You're a maniac.
Well, no, we're a maniac.
What's the we are maniac?
We're
That's a
maniacs.
t-shirt there for the cycle. What's the route we're doing this time?
We're going all the way from the most eastern point in Hokkaido, all the way to Tokyo.
That's the first time we've cycled over 2 islands, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty
God.
big.
I'm
Pretty
looking
big.
forward to the Hokkaido bit. I won't lie.
It'll be really beautiful, because the first time we did Hokkaido was probably the best cycling we did. And then I think we'll get to have a similar thing this time. So I'm excited.
Well, on the last one, it was a cool route, but we had to go through places like Nagoya and Kobe.
Nagoya. Oh, say it ain't so.
Apart from that one trip to Legoland. where-
That was that poor kid didn't see it coming. He probably wished we skipped Nagoya that day. But this time, yeah, we'll be going through your hometown as well, Sendai, and so going all the way to Tokyo again, where we'll be celebrating the end in Mori Tower.
Mori Tower.
Which will be fun.
Have you got any bear spray for this one?
No,
Because Hokkaido, all the bears come alive in the
Yeah.
middle of April.
I realised all I need to do is be faster than you on the bike, and you
I
can
was
have
the
best
fastest runner in my school.
Okay, you can't keep saying this.
1998, fastest runner, Sutton Valence Primary School. Check it out.
You were also the dumbest. Where does that factor into this? Where does that factor into this?
But today, we're going to have a rant. We're going to get it out of
Okay.
our system, right? We like Japan. We don't want to be those people who are like, I hate everything here. I don't know why I came here. If you don't like it here, you should leave. You hear that a lot.
It was hard to come up with 6 things. We had
That you
6
don't
things
like.
each that I don't like. It was genuinely, there is so many more things that I like about Japan than dislike. But I do think it's fun to once in a while just poke fun at the things that you don't really like or hope to see change.
Well, you've been here almost, 5 years now?
5.5 now.
5.5 years. They say kind of like after 5 years, you meet a sort of crossroads and you either go left and you fall in love with Japan and your love blossoms 1,000 generations, or you go right and you're like, I fucking hate this rubbish. I hate
That's
everything."
great. I love it. It's
Yeah.
amazing. The more I'm here, the more I think I can't leave. It's so good.
I mean, it is better than Wales,
Well,
isn't it? Oh wait, you're sponsored by the Welsh government now.
No, Wales is beautiful. Wales is beautiful.
It's
okay.
all right. Anyway, we didn't come here to talk about Wales. 12 things we dislike strongly about Japan. And it kicks off with Connor's point. What you got, number 1?
Number 1. So picture it. You come to Japan and you're excited to maybe see some of your Final Fantasy music that you can't wait to see. Or perhaps there's an anime artist that you can't wait to go and watch their concert live. And when you go and book, you're greeted by a lottery system. And Japan loves lottery systems. They're everywhere. It's
not
just like,
But then what's the alternative to that?
just first come, first serve.
Outbid it.
No. I mean, we have a problem with a lot of scalpers in Western countries. People often buy tickets and resell them for a high margin. But if you really, really, really want to get something, you can get it.
Well, this is the issue with your train, the luxury 7-star train.
I've
I've got a team of people in a room right now, frantically like working on this, and they're like, "Chris, it's a lottery system, right? The lottery system you so despise."
I hate it.
And it's like the next, they're like, "We can get you on the train in 2077." It's like, for fuck's sake.
But it permeates like almost every aspect, I think, of like Japanese culture, where like you go to the convenience store and they have the Ichiban Kuchi. They have some anime or Sanrio goods. And to get the number one, you have to enter 15 times to maybe get the one you actually want.
What do we do in the UK for these things then?
You buy an item if you want it. It has a price and you buy it. There's so many things that a lottery system here. Like, it's just like, to the certain point, you're like, I want to go to the doctor. Oh, I have to lottery it. You're like, I'm dying. Let me through. Like, but it's in a lot of aspects of Japanese culture. So, what is one thing that you don't like about Japan?
Dating in Japan, Colin. The problem with dating in Japan is it's a world of extremes. I went on like a second date with a girl and it was practically a wedding rehearsal. And I don't know why it is like this. Like, you either get ghosted.
Yeah, it is pretty intense.
Or in the case, I mean, I dated someone for a few years, and our second date, it went all right. Went out for like pasta at Gusto.
Yeah,
living the dream. And maybe Gusto. And to be fair, if you take a date, if you take someone to Gusto,
fault. You took it to Gusto.
You don't expect it to really go anywhere.
This is like the sloppy remains of Ronald McDonald. Wouldn't even eat them. He wouldn't even touch it. It's the afterthoughts.
But I got home that day, and I got a message. And it just said in English, and their English was a bit patchy, like my Japanese, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it just said, "Do we become lovers?" Question mark. Do we become lovers?
That's how I messaged you, actually.
Yeah, the second day on Trash Day. Do we become lovers? And what do you respond to that? What do you say? I sort of went, I kind of went like, what does that mean?
Define lovers.
I don't think we'd even kissed at that point or anything like that. It was sort of like you have to enter into a contract before you're boyfriend and girlfriend. And so dating, it's always felt like a very extreme kind of thing that doesn't feel organic. It sort of jumps to this sort of almost transactional relationship where it's like, are you lovers? Are we lovers? Sign this. Okay, done. We're dating now. Off we go.
I mean, there's actually just a lot of cultural pressure on them, especially women here, to get married.
Like the Christmas cake thing, right? You know about the... what is it? After 25, you won't eat a Christmas cake.
Yeah, it's so
bad. It said that Japanese women after 25.
It's so gross, isn't it? It's so nasty.
It's very unfortunate and stupid.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive pressure on women to get married here, and so often after 25 or as they get to 30, there's kind of this energy of like, okay, anyone who is financially stable and seems nice, let's get married. Let's just do it. Like, I can tolerate you. And so this is what I always hear about Japanese marriages that are a bit unusual, or perhaps they don't sleep in the same room, or even they have separate partners outside of their marriage. It's a really kind of bizarre culture. I mean, it's just always felt like there was never a, you know, when you go on dates here or you talk to people who are dating, you know, you kind of get the impression that love is an afterthought to everything else, which is like stability, financial stability, kids, family. That stuff always seems more important when you talk to Japanese people.
I mean, I went on another date to Coco's, the restaurant. Step above Gusto, depending on how you play your card.
Coco's is good. Coco's is good. No one hates Coco's.
Yeah, it's good. Hamburger steak all round. And it felt like I was being interrogated over the steak.
Yeah.
She was like, how much do you earn? Do you like skiing? I need someone who can ski. And it was like going down a checklist of like things like, it was very, again, it was like a CV, like, you know.
I had the same thing. I had someone who was like, same age as me when I first moved here. I must have been, 23? And the first thing they asked me was, do you intend to get married right now? Like, in terms of like within the next year or two. And I was like, well, I don't really think so. And she was like, well, I think we'll just be friends.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. To me, I was like, that's very abrasive. But I could almost respect the fact she was like, I'm not interested then, because that's what I'm looking for. But at the same time, I was like, this is a...
When she heard you were from Wales.
Yeah. I was like, but you know, in my head, I was like, I already kind of showed up and stuff. I was like, it's could have been a text. It's could have been told me a little bit earlier, I feel like. This should have been question number one if this is your deal breaker. It was very funny.
But anyway, I know where I wouldn't want to take a girl on a date. And that is your next point. Pachinko.
Pachinko. It's got to be one of the worst things about Japan. It's in the, you know, in Tokyo, Osaka, it's there, it's very loud, it's got people lining up out the street to go and gamble and smoke and waste all their money. It adds nothing, I feel like, to the city. It doesn't add any charm. They're all run by these giant, faceless companies that just take money. Gambling's illegal, but that's legal for some reason.
I think my second biggest video is on Pachinko.
Oh, wow.
Because people are so, like, enamoured by what is this thing with ball bearings.
It's so unusual.
I went and made this video with Natsuki, and I just couldn't understand the thrill of Pachinko.
Well, it's because they want to gamble.
The ball bearings go round in circles, and it's like, brilliant. Where's the fun in that? And I left making this sort of mini documentary about Pachinko with more questions than answers. But what I will say is it's really depressing in the countryside where
Oh my God,
they basically like run the towns dry and people have nothing to do. And when I used to live in Sakata, in Yamagata, you'd be driving through these beautiful areas. And you'd see like super palace
like
Taj
a
Mahal.
naked anime woman on the side as well. And you're like, oh God.
You'll see these like beacons of hope. Like, well, that's a busy building in the countryside. What's that? It's got like a tower and it's a beautiful facade, and it's just it's Pachinko again. And everyone's there on their weekends blowing their money. Natsuki used to do it.
Yeah,
and he maintains he made a profit from it. Which I didn't believe him. But then when we did that Pachinko video, he'd actually won quite a lot of Pachinko balls.
It's just you go to the countryside as well, like you said, and then it's also the you see the giant shining light next to the dilapidated local businesses. It's like
give back.
It's so tragic, you know. I remember we were in Wakanai, which is the most northern point in Japan, and it looked like a wasteland. But then there was the Pachinko place was the most popular place there by far, after the McDonald's, of course.
I mean, that's a pretty good McDonald's.
It was a pretty good McDonald's.
The last McDonald's in Japan before you head to Russia. Hit yourself up with some samurai mac.
But yeah, it's just depressing. Pachinko is just very depressing. It's fun for like a one-off, but when you see how it's kind of permeated the culture here and kind of taken over a lot of people's lives, it's kind of just really depressing.
The only thing worse than Pachinko is point number 4. Noise trucks.
You know, we've had experiences where we were recording Trash Taste one time and they parked directly outside our building, and we had to stop recording and we had to cancel the rest of the shoot that day because they didn't leave.
What truck was it? Politics or nationalistic or?
It was a political campaigning. They were just campaigning right outside our door with the mega speakers, and we couldn't film anything because it was popping up on the mic, which was very frustrating. It's like, woe is me, I don't care. But they do stand outside businesses and houses. It's not true that they just only stay at stations. They go everywhere. And it's also so weirdly at odds with every other aspect of Japanese culture about
keep your head down, be quiet.
Being quiet, be respectful, and then suddenly it's the free pass with this truck that gets to blare, and nobody stops for these people. Nobody listens to them. Everyone's always walking. I've never seen anyone stop and interact with these trucks. What are they doing? Why do we have this rule? Why is it okay? It's supposed to be, at least the advertising ones in Shinjuku and Shibuya were I believe, told to stop. Like they were
right.
But now I think the strategy is to be just keep moving. And then eventually you won't get told to stop doing it. And the worst part is that one time I got a taxi and I was stuck behind one. And for about 15 minutes, I just heard buy tickets. Like, and you're like,
that's what a Sea Dog VA Twitch sounds like.
Yeah, true.
Episodes.
Punishment for not using public transport that day. I was reminded firmly, never get a taxi. Take the bloody train.
Now, Connor and I might be the most bitter, grumpy British men in all of Japan, but there is one thing for us that does spark joy. Japanese confectionery. So thank God for this box of delicious treats from today's sponsor, Sakurako. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local snack makers, with each box packed full with 20 traditional authentic Japanese treats, including teas and even Japanese tableware. And this month's theme is Moonlit Sakura, as Japan welcomes the enchanting sight of cherry blossoms illuminated under the soft glow of the spring moon. The box begins with this beautiful booklet, sharing the stories behind each and every snack, along with the all-important allergy information. And the box ends, as always, in my mouth, starting with, oh, look at this, Sakura Mochi. Beautiful fluffy rice cakes, packed full of Sakura cherry blossom. And somebody's already opened it. How could this possibly have happened? Well, definitely wasn't me. The aroma of Sakura is simply delightful. It's like being transported to Kyoto. Wonderful. Next up, we have Sakura Wagashi, beautiful crafted sweets that look like little works of art. I almost feel a sense of guilt eating something that looks this good, but I'm going to do it anyway. That is what jelly should taste like. Dr. Jelly would be proud. It's the perfect treat to go with this refreshing Sakura hibiscus tea, served upon this intricately crafted cherry blossom plate from the mountainous region of Gifu. The sweet taste of sophistication. And whether you plan on getting a box of Japanese treats for your friends and family, or greedily keeping it all for yourself, don't forget to use the discount code when grabbing your own box of Sakurako, linked in the description box below. Well, what is next on your hit list? I've had my double rant about noise trucks.
It's a safe thing, we're all pretty familiar with it, but the work culture in Japan is pretty bad. We're very fortunate, we don't have to participate in the salaryman lifestyle, but oftentimes when I'm like, oh, Takeshi, how you doing, mate? You want to get a drink? He's like, sorry, son. I didn't finish work until 12 p.m. and
You
then I
do
have
not
to go
have
on
a
a
friend
drink.
called Takeshi.
I have a Tanaka. I have a Tanaka-san friend. Shout out to Tanaka.
That is the John Smith of Japan names.
If only he was
Sato.
Takeshi Tanaka, then it would be the true Japanese name.
But you're right, you know.
It's you know, and then I meet up with them, and it'll be like 9 p.m. and they'll be fucking miserable because they're like, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. and work already, and the problem is with a lot of this time is that in Japan they work so many hours, but productivity is often really low. You often end up not doing a whole lot of work, but you have to look busy, you have to do a lot of dumb stuff that isn't helpful for your work, meetings that aren't necessary. The amount of times that we work with companies that often are like, we must have a call about this, schedule a call. It's like, this could have been 2 messages on the email, but for some reason we had to assemble the Avengers and have a call with 12 people. It's just completely unnecessary.
Well, it's always that you have to be present at the workplace.
Yeah.
The longer you're there, the better you look. Your supervisor will remember, oh yes, Connor put the hours in.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
there
it's-
till midnight. He's the best in the business.
ridiculous.
Even though Connor's sold nothing.
Yeah, I've done nothing.
Productivity doesn't make sense.
I've done nothing. And when you're a teacher, I imagine there's a bit similarities there where there's just a lot demanded of you.
I could go home at 4:30, which was pretty lucky actually. That's pretty good, you know, by the standards of a Japanese company or a school. But I would stay often until 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And my reward, and I wouldn't even do much. I would sit there and
You just had to be around, right?
like look at pictures of like Family Mart chicken on my phone. People are like, you're the best, Chris Sensei. you're here an extra 2 hours. You're a cut above the rest. And
We'll really consider you for that promotion in 15 years. We really will.
yeah, I kind of got in like a Twitter spat with somebody about this.
Okay.
Because I sort of said, somebody asked me what it's like to work in Japan, and I said, I really wouldn't advise, if you can, I'd advise not working for a Japanese company, unless it's run by someone who is more progressive, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or a foreign company in Japan's quite good. And somebody was like, you don't understand, you're a YouTuber. You don't understand the way the world works. You haven't got a real opinion. I was like, well, I mean, I've met, you know, a few thousand people in the last 10 years, and I can tell you, I've never met anyone working at a Japanese company who's gone, oh, the work hours are good.
Yeah, that's the one thing you
fucking
never hear. I've never heard someone working for a Japanese company say, like,
No.
the work-life balance is really reasonable.
I think it got a bit better after COVID, and then it went back to normal. They sort of back to the office,
There's a
9 to 10.
big push to remove remote working in Japan again, and so it's been a bit of a shame, really, because I think remote working was a really good solution to the overworking problem, where people at least had, you know, a bit more agency over their own schedule and was able to, you know, relax a bit more.
Yeah.
But sadly, I feel like the work-life balance hasn't gotten a lot better. You know,
Just remember that work-life balance, it doesn't really exist to some extent.
no,
Really.
your company is your life first.
The company's your life, that's your identity, that's who you are.
Oh, barman, I would love another beer. Non-alcoholic, preferably. I'm watching my weight.
This one's Dry Zero.
Oh, dry.
Wait, which is better then, out of these two?
Me and most people seem to, I think we all say this one.
I look forward to seeing you spend frivolously during the cyclothon.
I
I need my all free.
I'm getting a crate. I'm buying the brewery out.
We bought like a bucket of sun cream for the last one. You need
I
like a bucket
got
of
another
all-free.
bucket.
Could you get an all free that you could like pump in for a straw? Can you
IV.
drink non-alcoholic beer as you cycle?
Yeah, of course you can. There's no alcohol in it.
I wonder.
There's no alcohol in it.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
That takes us to our next point. English learning. Everyone knows this one. The English language learning in Japan is abhorrent. And with every passing year, Japan's actually dropped down the league table for English proficiency. And it's just like, I remember when I was a teacher, it was just like a joke. Like learning English. Am I a joke to you? Well, I remember there was like one student who always tried their best. I'd be like, can somebody,
Quite depressing, isn't
can
it?
somebody spell penguin on the board for me? And he'd be like, yes. And he'd put his hand up and the whole class would bully him and laugh at him. And he would write it, and he'd write penguin instead of penguin. And people would be like, ah! It's just, you know.
What an idiot!
Teachers wanted to work at a penguin zoo.
There was quite a famous thing that happened not too long ago with Rakuten, where the CEO wanted everyone to be able to speak English.
That's right, Hiroshi
company.
Mikitani.
And he got into a lot of trouble publicly. Everyone was like, how dare you, this is Japan, we should not need to speak English. And so that's often the retort to that argument. It's like, why should we teach them English if this is Japan? We should use Japanese. So, but I understand how people argue that sometimes, because it's like, okay, sure. But, you know, in a globalized world, I think encouraging people to learn a second language is never a bad thing. I think that's a massive failure that we have in the UK as well.
It's not a Japan problem necessarily. Yeah.
We're really bad at like actually getting people to learn another language.
Did I ever show you the textbooks I had to work with? Like we had these textbooks with war stories to try and put people off war and to teach the students vocabulary, but the vocabulary just wasn't relevant to their everyday life. There's one chapter, right, with this elephant called like Trunky the elephant in Cambodia.
Okay.
And the poor elephant stepped on a landmine, got his whole leg blown off, and he had like a prosthetic leg. Okay. And I'm just standing in this classroom reading this story, and Trunky the elephant stood on a 3.4 gigatons of TNT, got his leg blown up.
Oh my God.
And there's just like, and he wore a prosthetic leg for the rest of it. It's a lovely story.
That's the English.
Beautiful story, right? The elephant that got a prosthetic leg.
How old are the kids?
They're like 15.
Oh my God.
At what point in their life are they going to be like,
Trunky
the elephant's prosthetic leg, landmines? Like, where is this vocabulary relevant?
Yeah, it feels like now, at least in Japan, that teaching English is more of like a status symbol to your kids. It's like, oh, my kid can speak English.
Right.
They went to an international school, we're very wealthy.
The sad truth is, though, like, if you look at the number of students going overseas in Japan, it's actually dropped down, right? Yeah. So Japan's proficiency's dropped, the number of overseas students has dropped. And it feels like Japan is sort of turning away from the world.
I mean, it's hard, right? The yen is so weak and the minimum wage hasn't gone up at all, so it almost feels like there are no ways to travel. So what's the point of learning English? There's no way you're going to use it. You can never leave.
Well, at least they know about Trunky the elephant, right?
But now they know about Trunky.
And they know how to say prosthetic leg in English, which hopefully, might be useful one day.
All right. Next point. It's smoking. Japan.
Natsuki's not really happy about this one, Connor.
Go fuck yourself.
I know, Natsuki the human chimney, we love him, but my God, does he smoke like a chimney. It's fine. I don't mind when people smoke outside. I think it's their choice. I'm not one of those people like, you can't smoke, it's whatever. It's like, whatever, man. Do whatever you want. But the one time I hate it is when you go to a restaurant and you're sitting going, like, what a lovely meal. I can't wait to try all the flavors. Because okay, I'll find another name. Ikeda-san over there is smoking down 15 Marlboro packs. You're just trying to enjoy your meal with your mates, but they're smoking. So you're kind of like, great. Well, at least I can go to my hotel room and relax. Head hits the pillow. Oh my God, it's like someone's burned down the hotel room because for some reason they allow smoking in some hotel rooms.
That's ridiculous. And there's nothing worse than when there's only one room left. They're like, but it's the smoking room. And you go and you're like, it can't be that bad. And you go in and I have an asthma attack. I'm like, I try and breathe in there.
This shift that Japan has to make people smoke indoors, weirdly, is kind of counterintuitive because you often end up having people smoking in areas where you want to sit and lounge, and then smoking is often banned on the street or designated in certain areas.
You can't smoke in public in a lot of places now in the city, and they have like designated areas.
Or they'll have those like rooms that are smoking rooms, which I also think look really kind of, it's kind of a shame. I wish there was more of a push to kind of push people to smoke less in Japan. I don't really mind if people smoke either. Like I said, I just wish that
it didn't infringe upon you.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have it in restaurants, or I wish we didn't have it in hotels. It's like, it just kind of feels like, what's the point? What's the point of this? What does this benefit society?
I will say it has got better.
It has got better.
When I first got here, like, I think every bar and every restaurant, you could smoke in there.
Yeah.
And it was abhorrent. When I'm eating my fucking omelette, and you just get a mouthful of like smoke. It's horrible.
And again, like I just want to reiterate, I don't care if people smoke. It's whatever. I just wish that they weren't allowed to do it in hotels.
We're not allowed to smoke in here, so.
Damn.
There's a no smoking rule.
Oh
in
God!
The Japan bar.
No wonder Natsuki never comes here. But talking about smoking, if you find yourself smoking too much, you might need this.
The doctors. Our next point on our list. And you actually had been to the doctors not that long ago for an operation.
Had surgery. Generally, like, pretty good. In the UK, we just tell you to wait 15 years and then maybe see if it's still there. But in Japan, you do actually get pretty fast medical service. Problem is sometimes...
Depends on what it is and depends on where you are, though. A friend of mine recently went to the doctors after having something that was a bit COVID-y. And it was a bit COVID-y. I don't know if COVID's still a thing or whatever.
Just a throat, symptoms,
He had just a throat, yes. And he came back with a wad of pills. And have you seen these pills?
No, I know.
The sort of Chinese medicine pills.
Plastic bag filled with medicine, and then the Chinese medicine. And then it's not really like fully explained why you've been given both. But you often get quite a lot of medication as well.
And they won't, I don't know what half of them are. Yeah. Like, it's like, here's the painkiller, and here's the dragon root mixed with turnip, and it's like, what is this shit? I don't want Chinese medicine. It's 2025. I want real medicine.
A lot of people in Japan like to take Chinese medicine, which, you know, is fine if that's what you feel like is helping you. But I kind of, you know, prefer the normal Western medicine.
The scientifically tested treatment.
Yeah, the ones that has gone through thorough testing.
I can make Chinese medicine. I'll take this plastic pork, fucking mince it up, and make you snort it. And it's got benefits beyond belief. It's all a bit like, you know, magical medicine.
I guess the one thing I don't like is that why is that called medicine and this one's not called medicine?
Yeah.
Why, if it's medicine and it works, shouldn't it be called medicine?
And these medicine are called kampo, by the way.
Yeah, kampo.
Kampo.
It's also tough as well because you often have to fight quite a lot when you are, let's say you're in severe pain and you want some strong painkillers. Often the dosage is considered for Japanese people who, you know, maybe, you know, it depends on your weight.
Well, do you remember, like Pete, American Pete, had appendicitis, and he was like, "Give me the morphine now," and they're like, "No morphine, Dad." And he had to sit in a room, dying in agony. Whereas my other friend Dave in the UK, when he had like appendicitis brewing, they gave him like morphine, and it actually made the swelling go down, and he sort of recovered.
You really have to fight. You really have to fight if you really want some kind of medical assistance and you believe like, okay, look, I can't bear this pain. It is unfortunate that you have to like literally plead to get it. You have to beg.
Beg for your painkillers.
When I had my surgery recently, I had to like tell them before we even like booked the surgery, I was like, I am going to need something special because I am going to freak out, and I also have some other health, you know, hemophilia and that kind of stuff. So there's just so many complications. And the one phrase they often said to me was "gamanshite," which is like the number one most terrifying phrase you can hear in Japan, which means to bear with it or
bear with it, boy.
Just deal with it. And it's like, I'm fucking dying. You're cutting my ass open. Please give me some painkillers. It's not what you want to hear when you're you know you're about to be cut open. They're like, just deal with it. And oftentimes with Japanese medical stuff, because everyone has insurance here, they'll often offer you the insurance solution to the problem, which sometimes is very outdated. And
I had that for my teeth. I did some teeth stuff at the dentist.
Yeah.
Clean them. They were like, we can use this special laser device that uses microwave radiation to clean your teeth, or we can use the poker. And it was like a stick with a knife on it. And like, this is the insurance one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll have special magic laser treatment.
Well,
as opposed to knife on stick.
Yeah, so the dentist here always offers me the expensive thing, which you know, I just appreciate knowing the options. You know, it's nice to know that I'm like, and I can ask them questions like, oh, what are the benefit of this one? What's the benefit of this one? But when I went to the doctors, they wouldn't even tell me unless I asked them about it.
Oh, right.
Like I had to ask, you know, why are the stitches the ones that I have to get removed manually later? Why are they not the dissolving ones? And they're like, oh, it's expensive. And stuff like that where you have to ask.
You have to. Did I say? And I told you about the
time
where
I'm not a medical expert.
Well, I am.
Okay.
Dr.
Chris.
Dr. Chris. And I told you about the time that Charlotte suspected her thyroid was wrong.
Yeah.
Something's going badly wrong.
Yeah.
She went to the doctor and he did an ultrasound test, and he was like, maybe cancer. Come back in 6 weeks and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Not good enough. And that has always stuck with me. That and a few other experiences.
You have to advocate for yourself here. You have to push for yourself and what you think is going on. If you're kind of whimsical about it, you're like, oh, it'll be fine. You'll be waiting the longest, you know, so you have to really fight for it. It's very frustrating.
It's frustrating. The only thing I will say is Japanese hospitals seem nicer than British hospitals. They're cleaner, they're better staffed, better run, no doubt about it.
I felt so taken care of in my surgery. And you know, the fact that when I was going through it and I was really worried because I'm not good at surgery, I'm not good at all this stuff, I asked them, can I listen to music while I'm having surgery? Can you give me like an extra...
What did you listen to?
I actually watched The Penguin.
You watched The Penguin?
Yeah, I watched The Penguin.
I want to take over Gotham.
And I asked for some like medicine to make me drowsier, so I'd be more calm. And they were very accommodating with it. So I really appreciate it. Everyone I had was so kind and so accommodating and willing to help me when I asked for something. But I did have to ask. We're complaining about this, but I still think it's better than the UK.
It's better than the UK.
Yeah.
Just get ready to advocate yourself. Get ready to download The Penguin before you have your operation on your back. That being said, what's the next point? What have you got?
Well, so we all know that Japan loves their excessive packaging, famously on the bananas, right?
Here you go.
Yeah, so, you know, when you buy a banana, obviously this is a recreation of a banana, if you will. When you buy a banana from the conveni, it often comes in a plastic wrap, which obviously,
I love it.
you know, if only there was some natural coating which kept the banana safe.
It can't be done.
It can't be done.
It can't be done.
But that's not the one that annoys me the most. It's so frustrating because when you live here, you quickly realize the final boss of living in Japan is trash and getting rid of your trash. God forbid you get a big package.
You just buy too much stuff.
Yes.
Your whole apartment's filled with trash. I went
Yes.
round there for a
Yeah.
stream the other day and it was just like Box City.
Yeah, it was boxes.
What's going on in there?
But boxes aren't bad to get rid of, but
Right.
oftentimes, you know, when you order something from a Japanese company, they take such pride in the packaging. It's really beautiful, but then you're like, you start stressing, how the fuck am I going to throw away 15 cardboard boxes and wrappings? And you're like, how do I sort this? Do I cut it out like some kind of ravaged animal and then...
Well, do you know with bottles you're supposed to like take the lid off and
label.
pull off all the
Yeah, I do
packaging
that too.
before you
Yeah,
separate
yeah,
it.
it's
So
very
make sure you do it, boy.
I do that too. That's not too bad, but it's like, I recently, I had the final boss of disposing. So I got my
You
giant...
didn't dispose of Joey, did you?
I got... Well, I think
What are you doing with me, Connor?
I think disposing
no,
your body
mate.
would be easier than getting rid of this thing. So I had ordered my 6-foot monkey for my
Oh
room.
God, of course you did.
And it arrived in a crate. How do you dispose of a crate? Do you know how to dispose of a crate in Japan?
I have never disposed of a crate, no.
This was a logistical nightmare. I think I had like the Prime Minister on the line. He was like, it can't be done. We don't do this. I had to go through so many fucking steps to get rid of this
Really?
fucking crate.
How'd you get rid of it?
I had to call up this company that would come to my house but first I had to measure it precisely, and then I had to tell them
Really?
which kind of wood it was, which I didn't know, because they wanted to know how they could
Cypress
recycle.
tree wood.
Yeah, it was like plywood.
Really?
And so they came to my house, and it cost me about just under, I think, 10,000 yen
Jesus, man.
to get rid of a box. And I was
Just
like,
the logistics of it.
it was just
Not
a hassle.
fun,
It's a hassle. In America, I go there and they throw glass cans, things all in the same trash. I'm like, I can't imagine it. But there's just so much packaging to everything here, and there's often such care taken to make sure that it arrives safely, and it's great. But it often feels a bit excessive, and you just kind of get stressed out. 'Cause you're like, what do I do with all of this stuff?
I've not seen you so triggered as this point on the list so far.
It's so
I
frustrating.
know how to finish you off now. I'll send you a crate full of plastic.
You send me like just send me, if you send me a watermelon, there'll be like 15 styrofoam, 15 layers of cardboard, a plastic see-through paper thing. It's like ridiculous. You get so annoyed by it when you're working. You're like, just hand me the fucking watermelon in my hand, I'll eat it.
The next wacky weekend will be at the Tokyo Box Factory.
Like,
This is where we make the crates. And they're like, no, not again, no.
oh God.
But
Well,
next point.
What's your next
We'll
point?
get you out of the packaging zone.
Get me out of it.
The next point is a mindset, not a package. And it is.
Okay.
Do you know what Imai, Japanese word, Imai means ambiguity. I think Japan's unofficial national sport is avoiding confrontation.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's cool in some respects. I think living in a country where harmony is prioritised is a wonderful thing. But it's also very frustrating when you want to get things done.
Yeah.
I think this is more of an issue if you work in Japan, as I do.
Oh yeah.
Where like I would wear clothes to school, like t-shirts, in times of the year that weren't summer. And they were like, you seem very cold, Chris.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, I'm all right. They were like, no, you're very cold. Wear a fucking shirt, you bastard. That's what they're thinking, right?
Yeah. They're not telling it to you. They're telling you every which way for you to come to the conclusion on your own. They always say like, muzakashi.
Muzakashi is the word,
We
right?
think
Difficult.
it can't be done. Like they never say like no, or like it's always like, it's difficult. And it's like, is it possible, or do you not want to do it? What's the reason? Tell me. Like why can we not have a discussion about this?
If you're wondering where
figure it out?
muzakashi, which is the word for difficult, where it is on the scale of yes or no, it's literally just no.
It's no. It's
If
no.
somebody tells me muzakashi there,
saying no.
that just means no. I was not a great teacher in my first year. Right? My lesson plans were an abomination. And I remember I basically just played games with the students. I'd always ask my colleague, like, what do you think of my lesson plan? Is it good? And they were like, oh, it's different.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, great, yeah.
It's terrible.
What he was
useless,
literally
trash.
wanting to say was, this is awful.
Yeah,
and
of
after
course.
6 months of playing Jeopardy with students about Trunky the Elephant's Foot, I remember he just lost it one day. He came up to me like, Chris Sensei, you've been here 6 months. I think it's time to stop playing games.
Oh,
and he just
wow.
sort of snapped.
He let that go on for so long.
I hadn't picked up on it, right? That he was getting quite angry at me for playing these games. I think it's good in the sense that I haven't really seen a physical altercation in Japan all my years. Because you have.
Yeah, on the train, I saw a man just randomly slap a guy in the face.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and screaming at him. I don't know why.
Bad lesson planning.
You must have played one too many Japanese.
But I think that the culture of like just not outright calling people out and being too rude is good to some extent. But also, it does make things very frustrating getting things done.
The one time I was called out, it was by a foreign guy, and I was typing on the bullet train on my laptop, and he was like, "Sorry, man, like I'm trying to read a book. Can you stop typing?"
Oh, really?
And I was like, "What?"
I don't like
riding on a bloody train.
I don't like riding trains with you because somebody always gets angry. I remember one time Connor and I were on a bullet train going to Sendai, and Connor wasn't talking that loudly because his voice is the voice of a dragon. I remember the staff came over and they're like, "Simasen, choto, shut the fuck up, please."
Yeah, they told me to shut up.
It's kind of like, yesterday I had a sandwich and I hate myself and a packaged banana cake.
That's what I say. None of these things I say.
That's what he says.
My voice is really deep and it reverberates.
It's interesting because you talk quite quietly.
Yeah, I do talk
And when we
quietly.
edit the video, we have to like bring Connor's voice up.
I talk fucking quietly. It's a fucking curse. It's
But
like,
it was like...
I've got the booming touch where everything I touch booms and reverberates. It's awful.
Banana no hanashi. Yamete kudasai. We don't want to. Yeah, so when you ride with, I don't know what the point is, but just don't ride trains.
You just wanted to slander me. You just wanted to slander me.
That's why I brought you here.
You just wanted to slander me.
That's
this
why I
whole
brought you here.
Black plague, slender, banana up your butthole, blah, 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 blah. That's what this has devolved to. 12 things I said, 12 fucking reasons I don't hang out with Connor more like.
What's next? What's the last one on your hit list, Connor?
This is one I'm sure everyone is aware of, and I've had to tell people many times, the dreaded reservation in Japan. You have to reserve everything in Japan.
You do.
And look, it's good, because you know that if you give yourself enough time, which Japanese people do, you can plan everything out in advance and get everything you want very seamlessly.
Yeah, if you book a restaurant about 5 to 7 days ahead,
guaranteed, you'll get
more or
it.
less you're in. If you book it 2-3 days ahead, if you
it's
turn up
nice,
on the
if it's a
day,
popular restaurant as well.
If you turn up on the day,
you're
they will
stuffed.
throw you out the window,
You're stuffed.
or they'll just laugh. There's nothing worse than I had a friend I was showing around Japan the other day. He called me up on a whim. I was like, I'll take you out for a drink somewhere. Every place I went into, the doors opened. And I was like, and they're like, arimasu? And I was like, "No, this." And they're like, get out.
It's frustrating because obviously we have a lot of friends in the UK and friends from America, and obviously a lot of viewers. And I always hear horror stories about how they wanted to go to the Pokemon Cafe, or they wanted to go watch sumo, or they wanted to go to this, and it's like, "Oh, we didn't book far enough in advance." And I'll ask them, "How far did you try and book?" They'll be like, "Oh, 2 weeks." I'm like, "Nah." But for like really popular stuff, like think of big tourist attractions, you do need to book as far in advance as possible. It's kind of sad at times because it almost takes away a lot of the improvisation or the spontaneity.
I miss the sort of spontaneity. Let's go down the pub and you turn up and there's no reservation nonsense.
You just
sit
get
down and drink your Suntory all free.
You know, that being said, most izakayas, most restaurants, you should be fine. You know, there'll always be something you can get in, but it might not be an amazing experience, you know? It might be like your bog standard, but that's fine. But it's just, you need to plan pretty meticulously if you want to have a really successful trip in Japan, I'd say, where you get to see a lot, do everything you want to do. You need to think about it. So it's just frustrating.
The only upside is those
you always
websites,
get to do what you want.
Well, those websites are also in English these days. It's a lot easier to sort of book ahead.
Until it isn't.
Japanese.
Until it
isn't.
And then, oh my God, good fucking luck. And then you click the translate button on the Japanese website and it turns to, this honestly could have been its whole one. The Japanese
whole
websites.
video.
Japanese websites could be the whole 12, honestly. Fucking hell. The worst part is if because I can't read Japanese.
Can't read at all. Can't read English.
I can't read anything. So I click the translate to English and it fucking breaks the website. Or then suddenly all the reservation options are gone when I click the English. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because sometimes some Japanese websites, when they're in Japanese, I'll be like, oh, we have 5 rooms available. Then you click the English page, and then it goes like, and loads this horrible web page and goes, no pages. And you're like, oh.
This hotel does not exist.
Oh, okay, that's great. And it's not because they don't want you there, it's because they don't update the English one nearly as often as they would the Japanese one.
I went to, I showed my parents around Japan recently. We went to Kyoto.
Nice.
It was good times. And there was a tempura restaurant that I know you and I have been to a few times. And I tried to book it first in English because I was feeling lazy. I was doing English.
They don't have reservations.
And it was like, you can book it if you want, but you need to put down a £200 deposit. And I was like, oh my God, that's all the money in the world.
That's
What's
so
wrong with
much.
it? And then I was like, let's try the Japanese version. It was like, no reservation, don't worry, just turn up. No money, no deposit. I kind of understand why. Apparently, a lot of foreign tourists sort of bounce on restaurants and don't actually fulfill the reservations sometimes.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand that. But it does feel like, if you can book a restaurant in Japanese, try and do it. Or get your hotel to do it. To stay.
Oh yeah, hotels will do it too.
That'll do it as well, because you can save a lot of money doing that.
Pro tip. Reserve.
And that kind of takes us to our last point, though, which is websites and banking in Japan.
Banking is the final boss of everything wrong with
It is,
Japan.
isn't it?
It's like the accumulation of every aspect of Japanese bureaucracy and websites that is compiled into the biggest flaming piece of shit, which is banking in Japan.
You think Dark Souls is difficult? Tried to fucking transfer £4.50.
Tried to get a statement in 24 hours. It's ridiculous. Now, luckily, some banks have literally gotten a service now where their whole thing is, look, we have modern systems. Like, it's like 15 years behind what we have in the UK and America, and that's the whole selling point. But still, my bank that I'm with, if I want a bank statement, I have to book a reservation in person to meet with them and then ask them to give me a bank statement, which then they will mail to me in 2 days.
Whoa.
And it'll be printed out. So I have to flick through it like I'm fucking on Gulliver's Travels, going through my itinerary. It's a fucking shithole.
Have you ever turned up without your Hancock stamp? Or have you?
Yeah, that too as well.
I've so many times. I remember I was going on a trip to Canada with Charlotte, and I had one day to do something at the bank, and I turned up and I had to do something really important, and they were like, "Did you bring your stamp?" And I was like, "Oh, I forgot it.
Mine's in Narnia. I don't know
Can I
what the
just
fuck
use
mine
my
is."
signature?" And they were like, "No!" Like they lost their shit. Another time I tried to get around this. I was like, "I've lost my Hancock stamp. It's just gone." And the whole bank, like, they got like the supervisor, the manager's mum. Everybody came in and they sort of huddled around at the back. There was about 6 to 7 members of staff, and they were like, okay, team, what are we going to do? I was, come on, why do we need this stamp?
Yeah, if you ever want to send money out of Japan, get ready for one of the most intense processes out of your life, because you need to the exact like penny, explain what you're doing and why that money's leaving Japan.
To do an international bank transfer, you need to like summon the devil.
Oh, you need to make a pact and like 15 pence to the UK.
And as long as you do it before 3 p.m, because they all shut at 3 p.m.
They all shut at 3 p.m. and they're often closed sometimes on weekends or shorter hours. So it's like the one time you'd actually want to go, you can't bloody go. It's a mess. And sometimes they have this great system, the older banks, some of the newer ones have finally realized that it's not the way, where you have two cards. You have one that is your cash card, which is only used for taking out money. You cannot pay with this card, it is useless. And then you have your debit card, which cannot be used to take out money from a bank, only to pay things like restaurants or...
Why can't we blend it into one?
If only there was this one card that could do all of it.
If only debit cards were real.
If only there were other countries that did this. And it seems so antiquated, you know. We've figured this out decades ago in other countries. Why is there a need for two? And then there is also something that older people love here, which I feel like young people don't use so much, which is the bank book. It's this little...
Suits your kind of book, right?
You can take it to an ATM. It's kind of a really cool piece of tech.
And you feed it in.
It goes in the ATM and it'll add all your transactions.
That's kind of cool tech from like the 80s.
Yeah.
And they've nailed it, but it doesn't need to happen.
Super cool. 40 years ago.
But in the UK, you just look at your fucking transaction on your phone.
Yeah.
But in Japan, you do get a free packet of tissues sometimes. You've got that.
That's pretty good, though, isn't it?
When you set up your bank, you'll get a free packet of tissues.
Pretty good.
Wipe away the tears when you discover the limitations of banking in Japan. But that is the last boss on our list of 12 things about Japan that we are not so enamoured about. Thank you for coming over, Connor.
Cheers. Very good.
And of course,
I love Japan.
He loves Japan.
I love Japan. It's the best. Before the comments get angry, we love Japan.
If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, I think when you've been here long enough, it's fair to be critical and to be critical of things that maybe should change.
But what we should do is watch Cyclothon 4.
Yes, April 13th.
April 13th.
To April 27th. On Twitch, on CWVA, starting roughly 9 a.m. JST. Isn't that right, because you'll wake up?
Yes, I've got like 1 week to get fit. What's the quickest way to get fit?
I'll just take that.
No calories though.
Well,
no calories.
Well, more for me.
Do you like my bar? If you don't like it, you can leave. Get out. Anyway.
All right, bye.
Bye. Away with you, boy. Bye. See you on the Cyclothon, guys. Thanks for joining.